Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Last video we ended at Stage 3, Step 5. Stage 3, Step 6 is when we get all these frames back off the paper and we need to sand them. One thing I did do before I took them off is I did mark each one so that down here where it's not going to, this is actually going to get cut off. But I marked each one so that I would be able to remember which one each one was, because the next thing we're going to do after sanding these down is we're going to put them here on the base. So I'm going to pause while I go and sand these down. I will come back before getting done with everything, and we'll talk about this piece right here that I had to make. Didn't come out too bad. And I want to show you how I'm going to fix this, because you can see it sticks up there a little bit. So I will be back. Okay, gotten 1 through 3 done. Working on number 4 now. Let me see if I can get this in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sponge, sanding sponge, and I'm just going to sand the side off. And the reason I'm doing this is so that when I put the varnish on it, the varnish won't not adhere to the glue. Glue kind of blocks the varnish and anything else you want to do with wood. Not a big deal. But it's also going to be, it's going to be visible if you don't do the sides of the ship. Also, come on, focus. There we go. You can see some of the paper, that's actually wax paper. It's not paper from the sheets. But some of the wax paper did stick. So I've got to get that off as well. Quick sand to it. Sometimes I'll switch to the sanding stick rather than the sponge, because I'm trying to just get this as nicely cleaned as possible. If you plank the sides of the ship, this won't matter, but I'm still not sure whether I'm going to plank it or if I'm going to just leave it open. Other thing I'm doing while I'm doing this is, hang on, let me zoom out just a little bit. There we go. There are some rough edges here. And so what I'm doing on the outside of the rib, I'm sanding it just to make sure it's smooth. It may or may not matter. Again, depends on if I plank it. If I plank it, it's not going to matter, because you're going to fair the hull anyway. What fairing is that sanding down the hull so that you've got a smooth, even curl from the bow to the aft end. So there's a smooth, even curl that the hull makes. So that's got that. I haven't sanded either side of this piece here. Let me do that on this side first. There's a little bit more glue on the opposite side. No, quite a bit of glue ended up on this side here. Let me sand that off as best I can. Probably need this sanding stick. It's a little bit higher grit, a little bit stronger. And also you got to be careful while you're dealing with these pieces, because you got the grain running here and it's really easy to snap the piece. I actually did that already with one of them. That's most of the way there. And the one I snapped, all I did was take some super glue and re-glue it. You can't really tell. It's actually sitting right here. Right there is where it snapped. But it'll be fine. And that's the hazards of working with wood. Wood can be a little bit fragile. especially when it's running along with the grain. Okay, so that should be good enough. You can see. And the way to fix this, the way to straighten it out, and this needs to be done now because we're about to, once these are glued on here, we're going to do the framework would support a deck, and it's got to be flat there. So you just take your knife and slice a small piece off, and you gotta turn back and forth. You gotta make sure you get both sides as even as possible. And that is actually really, really well done, cut there now. And so I'll take my sanding stick. I'll just sand that down. I don't have a piece of wood cut for it yet, but that should work out really well. I think there's a little bit of a high spot still in the middle. And so instead of using a sanding stick, which is flexible, see if I can find it. What I'm looking for is one of my flat files. There we go. So we take a diamond file. Actually, this isn't a diamond file. It's older than when the diamond files really got popular. But you just take your file and you sand it, or file it to where it's pretty smooth. Because, like I said, you're gonna have to do this if something happens like that. Because the key thing is you need a flat surface like that, where it'll line up straight across and the piece will fit in there perfect. That, my friends, I think is a really almost perfect fit. So let me go ahead and file the rest of these down, sand the rest of these down, and I'll be back when we're ready to move on to step 7, which I believe is step 7. Actually, it'll be step 8. Stage 3, step 8, has us start putting the ribs, attaching the ribs to the keel. And here's the thing. This is one solid piece now. And it's very lightweight. It is, I'm not going to try and see if it's flexible, but it's going to be a little bit fragile still in this state. As you add ribs, as you add the grid work that goes between the ribs, it will get to be a very, very solid piece. It will easily support itself. Let me think. This belongs on this spot right here, where the second rib will go. Put these back in here. Shouldn't have taken them off. I'm confused now. I think this goes here. And like us, these are just to kind of hold this in place. You don't have to have them there. They have this one when you glue the third rib in here. They actually have this one in place here. It's not going to matter, because once you start gluing your ribs here and make sure they're straight, everything will work great. And when I glue that third rib in there, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 blocks up against it on both sides. What these are for, and not everybody has them, I didn't for a long time, but what these will do is these will make sure this is vertical, and it will make sure the rib is vertical, squared up. Everything will be 90 degrees, which will make sure that everything, as we go further along, will work just perfectly. So let me pause again. I'll be back once I am done sanding down all the ribs. Okay, they're all sanded down and ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 1, 2, so counting from here, 1, 2, 3, and the first one that we actually glue is number 4. It's going to go in here, go right in here. And what they say to do, if I can find my triangle, there it is. What they say to do is when you put it in, and you're supposed to put glue in here first. When you put it in, they want you to take this and set it up against here and make sure that it is straight. Instead, I'm going to take the 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then I will set one up like this. The other one, I'll just set like that, and that will make sure that everything is square when I glue it. So let me take this out. And again, I'm going to continue using wood versus white glue. We're going to put some in there. And actually, what we're going to do is we're going to put plenty in there. Then I'm going to grab a brush, and I'm going to spread this up the sides like this. Matter of fact, let me see. Bring this camera over. Move this block. Swap cameras. Knock over the glue. So you can see here, I've spread the glue up on the sides here, and I'm actually going to put it on the sides of these blocks as well, because it will, the rib will set up against those blocks. Now I'm going to put this in here, work it in, set it up against the 1, 2, 3 block, set the other one here, and these are now holding the, let's switch back over because everything's blocked by the blocks. These are now holding the keel perpendicular as well as the rib. So let me see what it says. Make sure, repeat the same process, glue frames 5, 6, and 7. So 5, 6, and 7, move this camera out of the way. 5, 6, and 7 are going to go in the next 3 slots. I want to let this set up a little bit, so I'm going to pause the camera here. I know I do. This video has a ton of pausing in it. I understand that. But that way it's not sitting here and being 10, 15 minutes of dead space while things dry. So like I said, I'm going to pause here. I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes, and then I'll come back and glue these 3 in. And then we'll pause again. So I'll be back in just a moment for you. Be about 10 minutes for me. Okay, it has actually been quite a while, more than 10 minutes. So these are now in place, and I noticed it keeps wanting to pop up for some reason. That's okay, it'll fix itself as we go. So the next thing we're going to do is put 5, 6, and 7 in. So they're going to go here, 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to do mostly the same procedure, but one thing we're going to do a little bit different is we're not going to worry about putting the blocks on there. We're just going to use the triangle, there it is. We're going to use the triangle to make sure that they are actually in place where they need to be. I'm just looking, for some reason, this bothers me that it's like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this stays the way it should, like that. Then we're going to put some glue, and I'm actually going to do all of them at the same time. So this was spar number, or rib number 4. This is 5. Where did I put my paintbrush? There it is. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to spread it up here a little bit on the block, because it's going to actually grab a hold of that block. It needs to. And all of them, the numbers that I wrote on them before, I'm putting on the left-hand side here. That one is straight in there. Let's make sure that's good. That's good. Here's number 6. Might have a little bit much glue in there. If it's in the way when it comes time to fair the hull, I will take care of that. I'll sand it out of there. So that's good. Let me get this excess off of here. Yeah, I have excess on the outside there. So let me just kind of run a Q-tip up there like that. And then double check. Make sure that is straight. As is that. It might be a little bit off, but not enough to where it's not going to let me do what I need to do later on with the framework. And do this last one. Again, clean the brush. These are disposable brushes, but I don't want to just waste them. Here's number 7. We're going to put this in here like this. Again, if you can't see, every time I am making sure that the foot goes all the way down into the base. We're making sure everything is straight. For some reason, it seems a little bit off here. It'll get straightened out as we go forward. That's straight, that's straight. And so at this point, I now have to hold on. I have to wait for the glue to dry. So let me throw this away. Again, I have to pause the camera, and while I'm at it, I'll go clean this out because I'm out of water. But no, these are gonna set in place, and then when we come back, I'll move these blocks out. We'll remove this brace here, and I'll do the ribs 1, 2, and 3. So back in a minute or two for you. I'm going to be another 20, 30 minutes for me, maybe longer. I'll be back. Okay, this has had plenty of time to dry. Heavy. These are in here, and you can see when I pick it up by these, they're all attached. So the next thing we have to do, get this back on here with all of these. Make sure they will shift a little bit. That's just the nature of it. That's why as we build the pieces here, it's going to firm it up a little bit more, and maybe a lot more. So I'm going to look over here. The next thing we do is we're going to put the first 3, 2, and 1, 3, 2, and 1 up here in place, doing exactly the same thing. That will end stage 3, and then I'm going to let it dry overnight for stage 4, and stage 4 and 5 I should be able to do tomorrow. Might be stage 4, then for one in one stage, and then stage 5, but we'll have to see. So let me slide this up here. And this is going to be pretty quick, so I'm not going to switch cameras. All I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some glue in here, some glue in here. Didn't want that to run down the side, but that happens. And we're going to put some glue in here, and that's doing the same thing. So we're going to grab 3 here, and we're going to spread it along the edges here. There goes 2, putting it down the side. Not going to matter that much if it does run down the sides a little bit. Let me do the same thing with number 1 up here. And I'm making a mess of it. I'm getting it on the sides up here. It's okay because there's no glue down in here. They didn't call for any glue on the sides of this piece. Let me make sure I've got the right one. We're going to put it here. Get it lined up with the slots in the base. Get it pushed all the way down like that. Double check its alignment. It is square. Let me see if I can do this without getting a bunch of glue on the triangle. That's good too. Second one, made a pretty good mess on this side. Let me see if we can get some glue on the other side. I'm just going to put it straight onto the brush. Here's number 2. We're going to put it on the sides here. I probably should have done that on the other ones as well. It should be okay. And I did make sure there's glue spread up the side here. So we're going to slide this one down in place. Make sure it's down on both sides, otherwise it won't be square. And then last one, put a little bit more glue on the brush. Normally I would put it up into a tray, but this is just quick and easy. Got that on both sides up here. Let me clean a little bit of that up. Get some down here. And then we'll slide number 1 down in place, just like this. And I've said it before on other builds, especially on the HTM streams, the glue acts as a lubricant. Not only does it help it stick down, but it also, as you're putting this in, will help to lubricate pieces and help them to slide down into place. Make sure these are all pushed down in place. Good thing I'm looking because that one popped out. This one is now out. As I push, what's happening is it's pushing back up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set these on here. Let's see that one. I want to be careful because that's the one broke earlier. So I'm going to set some of these in here just for a little bit of weight to hold this down to the table. That one keeps coming up a little bit. And there's why. Okay. Because number 3 is up. Okay, got 3 down and everything settled into place. So, like I said, I'm going to let this dry. Everything is down now, so I don't need to put the weight on it. I will set these just here. Keep that in place. And that is all there is to do for right now. When I come back after pausing the camera, let me double check. So we have those in place. We'll be putting 1.25 right here. This is going to be to hold the sail in place, or not the sail, the mast in place, the foremast. Because the foremast goes down into the hull, into that spot. Then once that's in place, we'll start doing some cross beams across between these. So let me pause again, and I'll be back. No time at all for you. Overnight, probably for me. Okay, so it is the next morning, actually. And you can see everything is still in here. I've decided, and I put the one from down here over here. I've decided I'm going to leave this where it's at for this video. Frames are looking very nice. Oh, except for this one. That's not good. This one will have to, shoot. This one will have to be repaired. Same with this one. I'm going to have to do a little bit of work to spread these out. But that's something for the next video. I'll get this repaired and we'll start doing the pieces. And once this is back on here, I'll get it glued with a super glue. We'll get these spread the way they need to be. I believe there's actually a piece that will go in here, slot in between the frames to hold them in the right spot. So as we build the grid work here, it will come together. But I'm going to leave it here for now. I'll get this fixed, this piece re-glued on. I'm going to use the super glue rather than wood glue just to get it done a little bit quicker. Get these back in here, and then we'll pick up building the grid work for what would be the floor here. So, hope you're enjoying this build. I've got 2 videos posted. This is the 3rd one, and those 2 videos are getting a lot of response. I really appreciate it. If you're enjoying the build series, or if you enjoy any of my models, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of any time I post new content. Leave a comment. I will respond. And with that, I'm going to say, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And I will see you on the next video or stream.